Any questions from the challenger? Any questions from the champion? Let's get it on!
Evander Holyfield has always maintained that entering the ring that night, he was suffering from an injured shoulder.
Well, I hurt my shoulder in the Red and Bull fight. I strained it real bad.
I think the type of person Evander is, if it was something wrong, he wouldn't have took the fight.
Right from the opening bell, Moore took control of the fight with his right-hand jab.
He can't fight a southpaw. I think I was beating him with my jab.
It wasn't bothering me, but it was keeping me at bay where I just couldn't walk in on it. I mean, it was a good stiff jab, and it was quick.
My jab was always in his face. He couldn't do nothing about it.
And, you know, come the second round, I realized that he was getting confident and I was going to catch him.
I think I was trying to throw a bomb with the uppercut. And I lifted my head up and he caught me with a left hook.
I just didn't have enough time to really get on him, and then the bell rung. But after that round, I didn't have nothing left in my shoulder.
As the bout progressed, the rounds were close, but most ringside observers were giving Moore the edge for his dominating jab.
Evander can't fight backing up, especially a southpaw.
My shoulder, my left shoulder. From his left shoulder. My left shoulder. Left shoulder. Give me a rag.
Because my left shoulder was hurt, he was able to jab over my shoulder because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get my arm up entirely.
Entering the 12th and final round, it was clear whoever won this round would emerge the winner.
I wanted to be convincing. You know, that was Vegas, and I didn't know he was the champion. I didn't know if they were going to give him the decision because he's Evander, and I was just a #1 contender trying to get the title. You know, I wanted to make it convincing for myself anyway. As soon as the bell rang, I shot my hands right up. I knew I'd won.
I guess the strangest thing in that fight is right at the end, he raised his hand like he really did something. I finally got angry, and I knew I had enough energy then to really get it, which made me feel bad.
For the winner by majority decision and new heavyweight champion of the world!
I don't talk about the past, I talk about what's going to happen. And what's going to happen is I'm going to get it.
So it's a rematch. I'm going to be ready. I know he'll be ready. Evander will be at his best. I'm going to be at my best. It's going to be an excellent fight.
Now, neither Evander Holyfield or Michael Moore can afford to live in the past if they want to emerge victorious in the rematch. Holyfield must not dwell on his previous defeat. No more rest on his laurels. Now, Emmanuel Stewart, let's talk to you one more time. How big a factor will the first fight play in tonight's rematch?
I personally don't think that the first fight will be a big factor. I think both guys, for different reasons, have put the fight aside. And I think it's going to be like a total new fight all over.
Now, you know,
first time.
You know these fighters inside and out. You know their weaknesses and their strengths. I'd like you to talk about their keys to victory tonight. And let's start with Holyfield.
Well, I think Holyfield has to come in and dictate right away. He cannot sit back and box Michael at a normal distance. He has to either move in and put a lot of pressure, or either move side to side. Michael's key to victory is to be prepared mentally, to have an attitude of come on with it, and be able to sit there and be ready to deal with Evander when he comes in. And after things move to another level, to dominate with his right jab.
Now, you know both fighters. As we mentioned, I've got to get your prediction on tonight's main event. Got to get one from you.
It's really hard to say. I mean,
I've got to get a prediction now.
If a person had to bet, looking at all of the statistics, you'd have to go with Evander. But there's a lot of intangibles that I'm concerned about. Will he become all overnight? Is Michael Moore going to be like Kenny Norton was to Muhammad Ali to Evander Holyfield? Maybe his style will always bother Evander. And those are things that I don't know. So it's like a toss-up fight.
One of the great things about a heavyweight championship fight, you never know what is going to happen.
That's right. A one punch can turn the entire fight around, too.
Okay, the main event is coming up in just a couple of moments. But right now, let's go back downstairs to Jim Gray. Jim.
All right. Thank you very much, Jim. I'm now joined by Evander Holyfield. And Evander, just talking to you, here's a get easier with time. You're singing and dancing once again.
It get better.
Just better, not easier.
Yeah, nothing. I don't think easy is the word. You know, better is the word.
Let me ask you, such big fights with Mike Tyson, the two big ones, is this anticlimactic, and are you feeling a bit of a letdown?
Not at all, not at all. This is another fight that get me a lot closer to what God ultimately have planned for me to do.
3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, you lost this fight. How much different are you as a fighter than you were 3.5 years ago, as you will be tonight?
Well, I'm a lot wiser, and so that means I'm a lot smarter, and I can do things different. I'm able to adapt to whatever the circumstances may be, and so what leads me to win. I'm a holy warrior.
Now, Michael Moore, Evander, has been somewhat annoyed by what he considers a lack of respect for his victory. Do you respect his victory, and was it something that he should be honored with?
Well, yeah, I respect it. He did what necessary, and appointed me, just letting people know what the mistake that I made. I wasn't taking anything away from him. He did what he had to do, and it's not like he's supposed to let up. It's not like he said, well, okay, you got a hurt shoulder, I'm not going to do it. He did what he needed to do that time to get the judge's vote.
You want to unify this title. Is there any chance you might be looking past the fight tonight in Michael Moore?
Well, not at all. I look through him. He's a person that I have to deal with, and it's in a little while, and I look forward to doing it.
Evander, we wish you all the best of luck. There's absolutely no lack of confidence in here. As you can read on the bulletin board, like a football bulletin board, there's a message, and the new IBF champion, the real deal, Holyfield. Let's go back out to you, Steve.
Thank you, Jim. As the countdown continues, we close in on Holyfield. More to the crowd here at the Thomas & Mack Center on the campus of UNLV, settling in as the anticipation builds for the main event of the evening, the battle to unify the WBA and IBF heavyweight titles. Holyfield versus Moore, two-pitch champion versus champion, but ultimately it's a story about respect and revenge. Evander Holyfield looking to exact revenge for his loss to Michael Moore in 1994. Moore is the only opponent Holyfield has never beaten, and while he's gone on to gain recognition as one of the best heavyweights ever, matching Muhammad Ali as a three-time heavyweight champion, dethroning Mike Tyson along the way, he won't feel his career is complete until he evens the score with Moore. Holyfield says he still can't erase the memory of Moore raising his hands in triumph at the end of their first fight. The normally finely tuned Holyfield looked lethargic in defeat. Meanwhile, Moore feels that Holyfield tarnished his victory by making excuses, claiming a bad shoulder, a bad heart, and not just admitting the better man won. So both have something very much to prove. Moore wants to show that his victory over Holyfield was no fluke. Holyfield hopes to leave his legacy as the greatest heavyweight of his generation. For that, he must remove the final skeleton from his closet. Back with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. And Ferdy, confidence or doubt? What do you think is going on in the minds of Holyfield and Moore right now, just minutes before the rematch?
I think Holyfield is synonymous with consistency, with maximum effort, with championship. He comes, he gives his best, he's well prepared. Nothing he can do different than fight his heart out, and he does that every fight. That's what we can expect from Holyfield. For Moore, it's the opposite. It's the inconstancy. It's the fact that he's indecisive. He doesn't know whether he wants to be a boxer or a SEAL or a Royal Mountie. You can't tell what he wants to be. One night he looks brilliant, the next night he looks journeyman. He couldn't look any worse than he did with Bean. So which one shows up, you'll never know until this bell rings, and that's why we're all here tonight. If the guy shows up who can fight like a dream, then we're going to have a wonderful night of championship fighting.
All right, let's get it back over to Bobby Ches here and talk some strategy. Do you think Evander Holyfield is going to look to lure Michael Moore into an alley fight?
Steve, I think it behooves Evander Holyfield very much to lure Michael Moore into a street cat fight. You know why? There's a distinct difference between being tough and being good. Tough is your ability to give a beating, which both of these fighters can do. Good is your ability to give a beating. Tough is your ability to take a beating. Now, Michael Moore is tough, but not as tough as Evander. We've seen Evander get up from some very bad situations, come back and win. If he gets into a brawl, that goes to Evander Holyfield.
Do you think Moore will be more aggressive than usual?
Well, you know, he may not have a choice. If Evander Holyfield comes out blazing, what will Michael Moore do? He'll either fight fast or he'll get run over. Now, if he wants to come out fast on his own, I think that would also be good for him. But Evander Holyfield is going to come to fight. He always comes to fight. Michael Moore, in this case, I believe, has no choice.
All right, let's get your keys to victory for Michael Moore.
Well, Michael Moore, it's no secret, has to use a good jab, Steve. If he's not jabbing, put him at distance. Keeping that distance and that range, there's the jab. He'll unload with the combinations right after that. He'll come in behind that jab and work Evander. And again, it's a simple thing, but that jab, another jab. The distance has to be there for him. That jab is powerful, it's strong, and look at Evander's eyes. Over the course of 12 rounds, that's what happens. It busts men up. That's what Michael Moore needs to do, establish that jab and that distance. For Holyfield, he needs to close the gap. Look how close they are here. Hands high, tight. There's not a lot of distance. On the inside, bang with that terrific left hook he has. He'll come up with right hands and another left hook. He's the powerful man. Again, Moore not a stop. There's going to be times when that gap's there. He's got to close that gap. Again, get inside, work his way in, pick off the punches, and come in behind those punches with combination. There is no mysteries to this. Both of the trainers have said it. Inside Holyfield, outside Moore. And now, again, he's back outside. That gap, no, he's got to come in. And sometimes with the southpaw, you'll throw a double right hand. Here you'll see Evander do it. 1, 2. He gets back inside where he is going to be effective. Those are his keys to win.
Well, Moore may have the style, but does he have the heart? That's a big question. Some last-minute thoughts. Will Holyfield indeed come out and set a blistering pace as he told us he would? Will he force a physical contest? Can he overcome Moore's awkward southpaw style and in-your-face jab? Major factors in Moore's 94 victory. Will Moore uncharacteristically start out aggressively, throw more combinations as opposed to his usual lulling approach? Will he be 100% focused? A major problem in the past. Is Holyfield up for this fight following his 2 mega bouts with Mike Tyson? Is he overconfident after the 2 wins over Tyson? Will the infamous ear-biting incident have any residual effect on Holyfield tonight, despite his words to the contrary? And ultimately, will Holyfield and Moore bring their best to the ring tonight? If so, the biggest winners will be the fans. And let us take a look at the IBF heavyweight champ doing his last-second pacing, Michael Moore, before he heads out where the crowd can see him. He'll reportedly get $8 million for this fight. At last check, he's a 3.5 to 1 underdog. He says he's trained like he's never trained before. And although he comes in at 223 pounds, that's what he says. His new trainer, the laid-back Freddie Roach, in sharp contrast to the fiery Teddy Atlas, says Moore is happy, but it's usually tough to tell. He's always so sullen and moody. His first fight with Holyfield, his most important performance, but he has been an enigma ever since. Let's get the reaction from the crowd. Hearing some cheers and boos, it's kind of mixed as he makes his way towards the ring. A former ferocious light heavyweight champ, always needing a push as a heavyweight. Mixed reaction in the ring for Michael Moore. What more motivation or incentive could a man want than arguably the most coveted prize in sports, the heavyweight title? Michael Moore. And now we take a look at the WBA heavyweight champion, Evander Holyfield, sporting his latest badge of honor, a partial ear, courtesy of Mike Tyson, as he sings and chants his way to He was 224. He was 212 against Vaughn Bean. And of the uniform rules for this championship unification bout, the key rules: no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental foul occurs before the end of the 4th, the fight is ruled a technical draw. After the end of the 4th, they go to the scorecards. Incomplete rounds will not be scored. So here at the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas, we are getting ready for the WBA IBF Heavyweight Championship. Holyfield, Moore, 2. Let's get the official introductions from our ring announcer, the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Las Vegas, the Mirage Resort welcomes you to our Heavyweight Championship of the World main event, brought to you by Don King Productions and Showtime Event Television in association with the Mirage Resort main events, fight night, and the undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser. This Bud's for you. This unification bout is sanctioned by the World Boxing Association, President Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Jimmy Binns, and the International Boxing Federation President Robert Lee Sr., Supervisor Walter Stone, along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The chairman is Dr. Elias Ghanem. Commissioners Glenn Carano, Lorenzo Fertitta, Luther Mack, and Dr. James Nave. Executive Director Mark Ratner. Introducing to you our physicians, we have Doctors Flip Homansky, James Game, Margaret Goodwin, and Charles Signorino. Our timekeepers at the bell, also keeping count of the knockdowns, we have Jane Broadfoot and James Cavan. Presenting to you our judges scoring this bout from ringside, from Johannesburg, South Africa, Stanley Christodoulou. From Kent, Washington, Glenn Hamada. From Las Vegas, Nevada, Jerry Roth. Fight fans, here we go. The time has come for the main event of the evening. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, it's showtime! With the rematch and unification of the WBA IBF Heavyweight Championship of the World, 12 rounds of boxing scheduled. We first present our referee in charge, the third man in the ring, working in this his 44th world title bout, Mitch Halpern. All right, fans, here we go, introducing to you first on my left, the defending world champion for the WBA in the red corner, entering the ring wearing purple trunks, hailing from and representing his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. He weighed in at a ready 214 pounds with a record of 34 wins, 3 losses. He has 24 wins coming by way of knockout. He is only the second man in history to have captured the heavyweight crown 3 times. Please welcome the former undisputed cruiserweight world champion, the former undisputed heavyweight world champion. Here is boxing's warrior spirit, the WBA heavyweight champion of the world, introducing Evander, the real deal, Holyfield. And his opponent across the ring on my right is the defending IBF heavyweight champion, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing green trunks and hailing from Detroit, Michigan. He weighed in at 223 pounds, boxing's very first Southpaw heavyweight champion. He has compiled a record of 39 wins, 1 loss, 31 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the former light heavyweight world champion, now in his second reign as heavyweight title holder, introducing the IBF heavyweight champion of the world, known as Double M, Michael Moorer. Once again, our referee in charge, Mitch Halpern.
This will be a clean fight. Check yourself at all times and obey my commands at all times. You guys have any questions? Okay, that's not low right there, okay? That is. All right? Touch gloves. Good luck.
Around 18,500 on hand to witness this title unification. Evander Holyfield, he told us he really wanted to quit, but two things kept him fighting. One was the Lord, and the other his quest to unify all three major heavyweight titles in the ring. His opponent, Michael Moorer. He feels great, he says. Arthroscopic surgery on his right shoulder following the Vaughn Bean fight in March. No factor. Rumors that he injured his hands in training, he says, untrue. Here we go, round one. Watch out for headbutting and possibly stepping on feet because of Moorer's southpaw style. Over the years, opponents have complained about Holyfield's headbutts, led, of course, by Mike Tyson. Holyfield claims that Moorer's lefty stance generates the headbutting.
This first round, ever so important for both fighters. If Holyfield gets caught behind Michael Moore's jab a lot, it's going to be a long night, and vice versa. If Michael Moorer can't get out of the way of Evander's stuff, it's going to be a shorter night.
Holyfield wants to drag Moorer into a brawl. Remember, even though Moorer fights in a southpaw stance, he's really a righty. His left hand is quite weak. His real power is in his right jab. Moorer not really known for his speed, somewhat flat-footed. He could be in trouble early if Holyfield wages an assault and fights from close range.
Right now, it's a jabbing contest. Evander's throwing a nice jab. Michael Moore's not throwing a bad jab. There's the right-hand counter that Evander's got to be effective with. The left hook in the right hand, and Michael Moorer trying to get the left hand down the pipe.
Moorer will have to hurt Holyfield early to gain some success. Here's a combination by Evander Holyfield, but not much effect on Moorer.
They're keeping that distance. We talked about in the telestrator earlier with Bobby. That distance is there, but the right jab has got to be established by Moorer, and he's been throwing it out, but not as hard as he did in the first fight. In the first fight, it was a gonging, resounding jab, and it's not that right now. He's fighting a little tentative, is Moorer.
Right now, Evander's being very effective with his counters. 4, 5, and 6 punches. His right hand is finding the mark much more quickly than it did in the first fight. He looks a whole lot better.
What do you think about the flab around the belly of Moorer?
You know, Michael Moorer was very heavy, and they let the weight come down naturally to wherever he was comfortable. But my problem with that is this. If you're a young man, still under the age of 30, and you're not really leaned out, how much work did you really do? Or was your diet that bad? Both of them are bad signs.
There was nothing good to be gleaned from that. Not at all. And it is loose fat.
Moorer coming in heavy. He is a good technician in the ring.
And bear in mind, both men got heavy punches. I don't care what they say. Both these guys knock out people. Heavy.
And many feel that Moorer would crumble if Holyfield really challenges him, just jumps on him with a big physical attack. Here comes Moorer.
You know, it was a good right hook. It was more of a balance shot, I think, than it was a big hard shot.
Back comes Holyfield with uppercuts.
You know, I think it was more of a balance shot where he caught him on the side of the head.
Two squared up, boss.
Put hands up at all times.
Right shoulder.
Listen. Don't throw the right uppercut when you're outside. Get inside first and then rip it up.
Hands up, boss. Hands up.
One at a time, no water.
And remember, you don't have to look for no clean shot either. That's clean. That's clean.
Look at the body, use his leg.
Let's take a look at Holyfield getting hit on the side of the head. See, he did get hit, and he went back. It was a balance, a little bit of a balance, but it also was a resounding hard shot.
It was a good right hook to the temple, but I think balance had a lot to do with the movement.
You can't take anything off that, and he felt it.
Good first round action, but Moorer scored the best punch with just 15 seconds remaining. Round number 2. Remember, Mike Tyson called Evander Holyfield the best counterpuncher he'd ever seen.
Evander Holyfield was an excellent boxer, counterpuncher, and boxer puncher.
And a great left hook, too, but here comes Michael Moorer trying to smother Evander Holyfield. Then he takes a big step back.
What you have to worry about now for both fighters when this fight unfolds this way is the late rounds, the attrition, the training, where I believe the nod goes to Evander.
Well, we're going to see if it gets to the late rounds, because this doesn't look like it's going to be a late-round fight.
Conventional wisdom dictates that a fast-paced fight would favor Holyfield, slow-paced Moore.
Well, I think all that goes out the window when these two guys face each other. We're through speculating. Now it's there.
There's a beautiful right uppercut counter by Evander Holyfield. Moore counters him and he covers nice.
Pretty combination by Michael Moore after the countering shots by Holyfield. So Moore ready to stand right in there and trade.
I thought Evander won the first round. He won the whole round. There's the one big punch he got hit at the end. I didn't think it was enough for Moore to take the whole round from him. It's going to be a very cat and mouse type thing, I think, for the first 3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah. The thing is that the counter of Evander is wonderful, but Moore fights back 3 and 4 punches at a time. He's not laying down here. This is a very, very competitive first and second round. Moore looks like he wants to jump on top of him and put some punishment on him early.
Let him up, break, step back easy,
How about that? Michael Moore lifting Holyfield off the canvas, showing his strength.
Well, he doesn't want to be pushed around like Tyson was, and he said he wasn't going to be. So let's see when it gets to the pushing and the shoving.
Well, that answers some questions right there. Many felt Holyfield stronger than Moore and able to push him around like he did Tyson.
Well, you know, a lot of that had to do to his styles and leverage. Tyson much shorter. His style, the way he moves. Evander used his leverage with his height. Did some very good things with his movement, his feet, and his balance. Michael Moore may just not be the same way.
Oh, low blow by Holyfield. Being warned by Mitch Halpert. Halpert did a terrific job, and Tyson Holyfield one stepped away from the rematch after protests from the Tyson camp.
Based on the way that turned out, he was glad he did step away.
Mills Lane took over.
I think Moore is doing very well this round.
Yeah, I think this is a Moore round so far.
He's getting his shots in. They both established something. Holyfield in the first, Moore in the second.
Good round for Michael Moore.
Good round, Michael. Deep breath. One more. There you go, son. Good job. Now, Mike, the straight left hands work real well for you. And once you come back with the hook to the body behind that and then off to the side. Don't stay in front of this guy, you hear me? After your combinations, you got to get off to the side. All right? There you go.
Shoulders and arms, starting shoulders and arms, everything open up.
When you get in front of him, you got to take off.
Put your hands off your left feet, one or the other.
Let's hear what Emanuel Stewart has to say.
Well, you know, the fight is moving along the course that I would say would be the worst for Evander Holyfield. There was 3 different styles that the fight could take place, and one would be for Evander to pressure Mike and get over him close, to move around and not to box him at a stationary position, which is what he's doing right now. And if this continues to go along it is, Michael's right jab is going to be a big factor, and his precision little short punches. Evander's fighting the exact wrong fight to be fighting Michael Moore.
Thank you, Emanuel. Moore looking confident and sharp. It was round 2, 3.5 years ago in which he was knocked down. A countering left hook to the head by Evander Holyfield. He looks very solid, though, right now.
Oh, watch your head, Jimmy. Watch your head. Come
They
on.
banged heads again. Evander's trying to work that left hook to the body very well. They banged heads on the inside. That southpaw style, the way they lean over and bend into each other. Sometimes it's the feet, sometimes it's the head.
Holyfield now pressing the attack momentarily, steps back. Evander's left hook to the head.
Evander's left hook is pretty big.
Right uppercut by Holyfield to the chin of Moore. A straight right hand by Holyfield. Let's see if Moore has answered. Holyfield pouring it on. He scored big with a right hook.
Keep it off, man. Keep it off.
Holyfield, though, I believe is cut.
They banged heads. I think it was one headbutt.
Time! In that corner. Come here. Come here.
Here comes the doctor, and here comes bad news.
Headbutt. Let's cause check. Accidental headbutt. Let me stick with it.
Accidental headbutt.
Mitch Alford saw it the right way. They banged heads by accident over here.
We mentioned it at the top of round one. Look out for the headbutting, and Holyfield looks to shake it off. A straight right hand by Evander Holyfield. Perhaps sensing the urgency of the moment, digging in with body shots, Holyfield.
Evander Holyfield's mad right now. He's fighting hard. He's fighting furious.
And he has that urgency. No question about that.
See, on the inside, he's a better fighter. He's more comfortable there. He's a more well-balanced fighter on the inside, shifting his weight in his arms top to bottom. He moves well on the inside.
The cut instigating the furious assault by Holyfield. Low blow by Moore, and then a straight right by Moore. Beating Holyfield to the punch there.
Moore's getting his jab in. He's getting his jab in, and that's going to be the key.
That's what really damaged Holyfield in the first fight, aside from the fact that his left shoulder was hurt.
And now with a cut, it's even more reason not to keep eating that jab, and he is eating the jab.
Final seconds of round three. A round that sees a cut on Evander Holyfield.
There's another butt there. They banged heads again.
Give me that sponge. Give me that sponge.
This isn't much, Holy, so don't worry about it.
Look, Holy, no weapon formed against you is proper, baby.
Don't worry about it.
Here's the water. Here's the water, Holy. No weapon formed against you is proper now.
It looks like Holyfield is praying.
I thought the same thing, Steve. I was watching. I gave him that round. He dominated the first minute very strong.
I gave that round to Moore because of his final performance at the end of it.
Yeah, but I thought Evander dominated the first minute so much more superior that he won the round. We different for the first time.
Well, it won't be the last. This is a very good fight, Bobby. Very good.
His eye was cut by Moore in the fifth round of the first fight. And here it happens in the third. We enter round four. First evidence of blood from Holyfield's right eye about a minute or so into round three. Jim Strickland assuring him that it was okay, the cut man in Holyfield's corner.
3 straight hard jabs to pick up where he left off. Moore getting confident now. Moore getting very confident behind that jab.
Evander looks like he's been weakened a little bit for some reason.
Let's get it over to Jim Gray quickly.
All right, Steve, I just talked to Flip Pomansky, the attending physician at ringside. He said the cut over Evander Holyfield's right eye is not serious at all right now, and it is not in any jeopardy of stopping the fight as of now. Steve.
But that was a serious left hook by Michael Moore while you were talking, Jim. That sent Holyfield reeling back a bit.
Both men are punching with a great deal of force.
Very competitive fight.
There are no light punches in this fight. They're going at it.
That's the jab that Michael Moore needs to use.
And that's the one that holds Holyfield at bay.
Holyfield just waiting to counter. His left hand down. What's he doing?
I don't know what's going on.
What's he doing?
Evander Holyfield looks like he's weakened or something's wrong.
Yep, he does.
He looks so much similar to he did in the first fight.
He was very lethargic in the first fight, with all kinds of shoulder problems, the subsequent heart problems.
Let go, break easy, come on.
But saying no excuses coming into this fight. He's 100% physically fit. And now Moore lets up, but comes back with a swift left hook to the side of Holyfield's face. Holyfield smiles in Moore's face. Straight right hand, beauty by Holyfield.
Holyfield blocked that hook with his right hand pretty nicely.
And a countering right. by Holyfield, flush on Moore's face. When Moore walked right into that one.
Moore's using a nice jab again.
As soon as he does, Holyfield smiles.
That wasn't a smile. I think that was a scowl.
Yeah.
Holyfield's mad that he's walking into the jab.
And angry, Evander Holyfield coming forward. A short, crisp, straight right. He barrels in on Moore. Get up in here. Again, that beautiful left hook by a left hook by Holyfield. A countering left by Evander Holyfield. Moore comes back. What an exchange.
Moore is pounding on the inside as well. That's not all one way.
Well, this is the fight you wanted, America.
Oh, welcome forward to get you surprised for holding. Give me that sponge.
A little ice bag.
Give me an ice bag. Give me an ice bag.
Put ice bag. Pass it when you put it behind his head.
Ben, you listening? When you get in front of him, don't throw the right hand so long, short, and quick.
No weapon form because
You hit him with a left hook in the body and he held you.
Okay. Let's take a look and see if we can, if we can see it. 1 round ago where that cut might have taken. They did butt heads there. It didn't look like that big, but anything can happen with.
Doesn't have to be big. It's an Iowa scar tissue.
It doesn't.
But the cut over Holyfield's eye seeming not to be a factor in round 4. We enter round 5. Hey, maybe Michael Moore truly does respond better to trainer Freddie Roach's TLC approach than he did to the tough love of Teddy Atlas. We'll see.
Well, I think he's doing very well here. This is a very, very close fight. Either way, whichever way you got it at home, it's close.
And there's the kick. Shades of Holyfield Tyson. The crowd trying to urge Holyfield on.
See, Holyfield on the inside works nice. He digs that left hook, but he can't let Michael Moore push him back and stuff that jab. The right uppercut on the inside for Michael Moore, also very effective.
They've got a battle going on not only in the ring, but in the stands. Fans yelling Holyfield, then Moore. Straight right, followed by a left hook by Moore. Effective punches that landed.
Evander Holyfield, I don't know what he looks like. He's looking for something. He can't find his rhythm, or maybe he's a little tired or something's wrong. He just looks a little off, a little bewildered.
He looks a little tired, and bewildered is the word.
The question is, the distractions, perhaps during the week, are they taking their toll?
I think the biggest toll it's taking right now is Moore is punching him silly. That's what I think he's doing. I mean, he's punching him to the body. That left hook is getting him dizzy. I mean, not the hook, but the jab, the right jab is getting him dizzy.
Or all of the above. Perhaps a combination of things.
And perhaps, remember what we said. This might be the night that he turns old. You just don't know in boxing. He's right now apparently leading this fight.
A lot of blood around the eye of Evander Holyfield, and it is target practice for Michael Moore with that right jab.
We talked about that jab being key. Evander Holyfield has not neutralized it as much as he was supposed to.
Oh, a left hook by Michael Moore, and that stunned Holyfield.
You know, every man's got a bullet with his name on it. Michael Moore just might be the bullet. But if
corner and says he's okay.
You okay, bud?
13 seconds to go. Fortunately for Moore, it's at the end of the round. They resume with 8 seconds.
Come on.
All right, let's take 3 looks at that. Oh, smashing right hand. That was enough to put away anybody.
And Michael Moore did the right thing by going down and catch his rest. You watch that right hand. Evander Holyfield sets him up, throws a right hand right down the middle. You'll see a jab, an uppercut, jab, bang. And down he goes.
You hear the crowd reacting to the big screens.
Well, there's no question. As we just keep your eye on the right hand. There it is. It's just a perfect punch where it should be. Just when Moore was starting to have his way, things changed.
It happened 2:35 in round 5. Moore down from a right on the chin. Here we go, round 6. The second time Moore is down against Evander Holyfield in the 2 fights. Look out! WWF tactics by Michael Moore. Apologizing to Holyfield.
Let's go, come on, let's go. Keep it clean.
I'm not sure what that was about.
Boy, just about everything has happened to Evander Holyfield in the ring. What's next?
Well, there's no parachutes available.
Oh, boy.
At least he can't come through the roof. Well,
the whole promotion, ironically, has been marked by the politeness and respect for each other. But that goes out the window in the ring.
right now we see that Moore is not punching with the intensity he had just when he was getting on that road where it looked like he was finding the range and it looked like Holyfield was slowing down.
Look at these doubling up of left hooks by Holyfield. Ferocious shots by Holyfield.
Holyfield with a nice triple left hook there. Started in the body and a double up top to the head. That's the punch that was the nemesis for Moore in the first time. This time was a straight right hand.
But Moore comes right back inside against Holyfield.
He's just not punching hard. He's not punching as hard. He needs this round to recover, I believe.
Moore knocked down in the last round late. Eye of Evander Holyfield bloody, the right side.
Evander Holyfield does look tired to me, though, gentlemen. I don't know what. It just seems to be something's off. It seems like he has a repeat in the first fight. Maybe Michael Moore just is the nemesis because he was down in both fights, but Evander has not looked strong in both.
Well, Moore has dished out his share of punishment and has taken steam out of Holyfield. Holyfield winching, trying to get the blood out of his right arm.
Well, this has turned out to be a super heavyweight fight. Both guys equally matched. Any one can take the other out in a minute. So now we got drama. We got bleeding. We got a tiring Holyfield and a guy who has dropped Moore. Excellent, excellent drama.
That blood is bothering Holyfield. He's trying to rub it away. It's getting into the right eye.
Let's not forget, if they stop this on cuts because of an accidental bite, we still go to the scorecards.
If an accidental foul occurs before the end of the fourth, the fighters rule the technical draw after the end of the fourth. Indeed, with the card. It's round 6.
Holyfield surprised a little bit by not opening up and going right after Moore. When he had him down, he's let him off the hook.
They thought it was a low blow from the Moore corner by Holyfield.
That was not a low blow, though. That was on the belt and above. The belt is legal.
Holyfield able to block that left hook. That's something he was unable to do for most of the first fight because of injury.
Get in your rhythm. Get in your rhythm. Come on, sit down. Give him the sponge. Ice bag. Who's behind me?
They're putting the punches together, baby. You got to have your punches put together now. You're getting too tall, too.
Keep that close.
Hey, stay small and put your punches together, baby. You get this guy out of here.
Don't try too hard. It's going to come.
Here's the water.
Get him on.
When you're small, you're powerful. When you're small, you're powerful. Here, drink this one. Drink this one. Well, it's his technique born out of desperation, I think. Yeah, I do. He was a linebacker in his day. But I wouldn't like to lift him like that. That's heavy work. I don't think that does Moore any good at all.
Personally, I'm too lazy.
Well, let's see what Mr. Holyfield's got in mind for Mr. Moore.
Emmanuel Stewart, you've trained both these guys. Your thoughts at this point?
Well, you know, the way the fight is going right now is, to me, still favoring Michael Moore. Even though Evander has been looking good, Michael seems to be more sturdy, and this is the pace and the distance that he likes to operate from. Evander should either start moving from side to side, either go strictly to the inside and try to fight from inside. But at this stage, that he's fighting in, Michael Moore seems much more stabilized, much more comfortable, and that right jab is becoming more and more of a big factor in the fight.
All right, Emmanuel, thank you very much. Halfway through the bout could be some interesting scoring.
You know, Holyfield wasting a lot of energy jumping around and bouncing like that. He could step and just be as easy, you know, moving from side to side. He's trying to get into a rhythm, though. You heard Don Turner say get into a rhythm. Maybe this is his rhythm, a la Terry Norris, but I just don't see it.
Guys, your unofficial numbers at the halfway mark.
I have got Michael Moore and Holyfield tied.
I have Holyfield ahead by a couple of points with the knockdown.
Look out! Moore's in trouble. A straight right hand by Holyfield, looking to put Moore down.
And this time he doesn't have enough time to sweat it out.
There was a delayed reaction here. Moore almost went down and refound his balance. Again, it's the toughness is what we're talking about. The good and the tough both can give good beatings, but who's tougher? There's another stagger.
Moore momentarily days in the left hook again. Wobbles him. He's being rocked. A straight right hand pushes Moore back. Moore has been staggered.
Too much time. Too much time. Moore has got too much time to kill. Holyfield should attack with everything.
Both fighters are squared up fighting, but they're very tired.
A 15-second barrage by Evander Holyfield. He continues to come forward and down goes Moore. Down to one knee. Second knockdown for Holyfield. 5, 6, 7, 8. He gets up on 8, but he has 55 seconds.
He looked at his corner real hard, and everybody said, get up. So he did.
Could this be the end? Moore in dire trouble. 40 seconds ago, right up the top, down he goes again. There's no 3 knockdown rule.
This is headed toward a 10-7 round.
6, 7, 8. Give me, you all right?
Down at 155, again at 220. Can he survive the final 25 seconds? Back comes Holyfield in furious fashion. Looking to end it here in round 7. Moore fighting back with all his heart. A right on the temple. Uppercut, left hook by Holyfield.
Michael Moore is taking some big shots, and he's fighting back.
He's going to make it.
And there's the bell. Moore gets through it.
Whoa.
Nice deep breath, son. Get some ice on the neck, please. Some water. And top.
Yeah, worked ice well.
Nice deep breath, Michael. There you go.
Talk to me, Mack. How you doing? You okay?
All right, let's take a look at that first punch that gets him in trouble. It's a hook, and you see him, it's just too much for him. 2 right hands. It looks like he's on the way down, and all he needs is to finish it.
Now you see the first knockdown. Evander Holyfield knows he has his man in trouble. Michael Moore trying to sustain. Right uppercut on the inside. Beautifully timed, right between the gloves. Perfect shot.
All right, this is second knockdown, apparently second knockdown, and that, again, is the fact that a nice uppercut came in, a right uppercut. I'll tell you one thing, you can't question his guts.
Michael Moore down 3 times in the fight, twice in the 7th. We enter into round 8. Well, he certainly sheds that heartless, lackluster tag tonight. Michael Moore in the green.
And people who thought they might see a dull fight can forget it. This is excitement in the heavyweight.
I had that last round 10-7, which gives Evander a commanding lead. 2 times, almost 3.
He's absolutely far, far ahead. About the only way he can lose this now is to get knocked out himself.
I have it 4-2 and 1 even.
A frantic assault in the last round by Evander Holyfield, putting Moore to the canvas twice. But he couldn't finish him off. Moore is showing a lot of guts.
Watch your head. Come on, watch his head.
You know that thing I was talking about earlier, the good and the tough, both good fighters. Evander tougher than Michael Moore. The difference, it is clearly the difference here tonight.
All right, great. Step back. Easy, gentlemen. Don't punch. Don't punch.
Well,
don't
if there was
punch.
a question about Moore's conditioning because of his fat, those 3 knockdowns kind of answer the question. He may be fat, but he's got guts and he's got conditioning. Back here, buddy. Now, the question is, how far does Holyfield get tired? We've seen him get tired in almost every fight except the Tyson fight. Now, let's see what happens.
Break, don't punch, Center. Good.
Now, sometimes Holyfield needs to get hit to get it going, and that's what we saw here tonight. That was blocked partially, but there he goes again. Combination. He's down for the fourth time. Michael Moore rolling around the canvas with a minute to go in the eighth.
7, 8. You okay?
Really upset with himself. He gets up at 8 again. He'll have 50 seconds to survive. It happened 151 in a round 8. Down for the fourth time, Michael Moore.
Holyfield is fighting like a great champion.
That wobbled Michael Moore again.
Michael Moore's legs are not totally under him. He's not sturdy. Right now you see him, he's leaning off to the side. Michael Moore is getting hurt by Evander.
1 or 2 more punches could end it for Holyfield.
Well, he's delivered them, and it doesn't do anything.
25 seconds and counting.
Look who's going back.
Look at Moore waving Holyfield on. He is game.
I'll tell you what, if he loses here tonight, he'll gain more fans and friends with this fight than he has in many of his victories.
Michael Moore's stock goes up regardless.
Yes, indeed.
Look at that, right up to the chin by Holyfield. Oh, down he goes for the 5th time.
This fight's over, Johnny. This is it.
Down on his back, roll.
6, 7.
He's going to make it.
Hey,
That's 7.
For 2 minutes. Are you all right? You keep going?
The bell ends the round.
What an incredible fight.
All right, son? Talk to me. Look at me, Michael. Give me some water. Give me some water.
Look at me, Michael. Look at Flip. Look at Flip. Look at me, Michael. Look at Flip.
How you know it's okay?
They are waving it off. Michael Moore cannot answer the bell for round 9. It is all over after 5 knockdowns.
This is the first knockdown in a round, the 4th of the fight. Michael Moore coming in, Evander unloading. Beautiful combination. There you see a right hand, a left hook, and another right hand. Michael Moore goes down again and still gets up to face Evander Holyfield. This is where Evander Holyfield wanted to wage the war from the beginning. On the inside, make it a slugfest, draw Michael out into a street fight. The uppercuts, the hooks, the combinations. Evander Holyfield is a terrific combination puncher. This would be the final knockdown, number 5 of the fight.
And that was right at the bell. You know, there was 3 seconds left when he hit the canvas. So under old reels, I mean, it was overwhelmed. Boy, but what a heart on Michael Moore.
I said between 8 and 9, and what is it exactly? Between 8 and 9.
Bobby, a vicious assault by Evander Holyfield, but by the same token, tremendous heart by Michael Moore.
Michael Moore impressed me tonight. I thought he came here ready to fight. I thought he was in better condition than normal, even though he didn't look it appear it. He took some tough shots, and that's the thing I was talking about, that toughness factor. The toughness factor is why I gave the nod to Evander. I knew this would be a shootout.
The over-under, Bobby, was 9.5. The under bettors won. Evander Holyfield, a 3.5 to 1 favorite.
And it's funny, they asked me what I thought, and I said Holyfield in 8 or 9, and it was exactly between 8 and 9.
There you go.
At 3 minutes of the 8th, because the 9th bell never started.
Hold on.
Holyfield now 1/3 away from achieving his dream of unifying the heavyweight title. He secures his WBA heavyweight belt and once again adds the IBF heavyweight title to his growing collection. The question now, is WBC heavyweight champ Lennox Lewis next to complete the trifecta? Holyfield's lawyer Jim Thomas told me getting a fight with Lewis, big business, complicated, dealing with the networks and promoters. The courts are now involved. Mandatory challengers want to get their shot. It may not happen. Let's see if we can decipher the scoring through 8 rounds.
You know, Steve, I had it 78-70, and here you see 78-69, 78-70, and 78-69. We were all on target.
There you go.
Michael Moore won the couple of rounds he did, but Evander won every round by 2 points and some 3 points. 2 knockdowns. It was a 10-7 round. Here you clearly see him. 2 knockdowns, 10-7.
That was a 7.
And, you know, it's 7th and the 8th, as well as the 10-8 round in the 5th.
Holyfield by TKO, end of the 8th. Referee stops the bout. We'll get the official word from Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has been stopped at the end of round number 8. Our referee in charge, Mitch Halpern, stops the contest on advice of the ringside physician, Dr. Flip Homensky. The winner by way of technical knockout, and he is now the WBA and IBF heavyweight champion of the world, Evander, the real deal, Holyfield.
So there he is, the WBA and IBF heavyweight champion, Evander Holyfield. Jim Gray is standing by in the ring with Evander Holyfield.
All right, thank you very much, Steve. Evander Holyfield, congratulations. First, let's talk about in the second round. What happened to your eye, and how much did that scare you that the fight may be stopped?
First of all, I just got to give honor to the Lord. He's always good, even in the tough battles.
Now on to the question here. Your eye in the second round, did it bother you? Were you afraid that it could stop the fight, and how did it happen?
You know, I wasn't afraid. You know, I don't know if I got hit or not, but you know, because by him being southpaw, we come in together, and you know, I just know I had blood in my eye, but you know, you got to understand, I don't have about 4 or 5 fights with the same thing, and you know, when it's not the first time, you don't panic. You realize that you know you got capable cutting men in your corner, and they can stop it.
Let's take a look at the headbutt here, Evander. If we look here at the monitor, this is approximately when it occurred. As we look at it, tell it.
Well, you know, I was going to the body. And, you know, we both were going to the body, and you know, you have to step forward with your head, and it's just unfortunate I came up with the cut.
Let me ask you now, Evander, until the 5th round, it looked like Michael Moore was going to be your nemesis again, and then you knocked him down at 235. Tell us about the fight up until that time, because it looked as though you might be in trouble.
Well, you know, I wasn't in trouble. The thing is that Mike got a good jab, and I either can try to match his jab and lose my game plan. I realized that if I could just not get hit with the jab as many times I got what happened in the first fight, then, you know, I was a lot better. You know, even, you know, my arm wouldn't bother me, and I could slip some of the jabs off my shoulder, and I was able to hold him off.
Was there something wrong with your left hand and your left arm? It looked as though it was drooping again.
No. I dropped it on purpose because I figured that, you know, it would make him charge in, and I have a cleaner shot. You know, I was able to hit him with clean right hands, but the thing is I couldn't follow up with a combination. He was able to get away from the second punch.
As Janice attends to your eye, tell us now about that big 7th round. He went down twice. Let's take a look at a couple of those. Are you surprised he got up?
Well, no, because it's the sure win of an individual.
This right here is the last one.
Well, you know, deep down inside, when people come to win, in their mind they already say, "Is anything happened? I'm getting back up." So he was able to get back up each and every time, and that just showed the courage and the heart that he had. He came to win. You know, when you have a guy that come to win, there's always going to be a good fight. You know, there's no quitting, and there's a proven fact that, you know, regardless of what you say, there's an individual themselves that show that determination.
What about next for you, Evander? Will it be Lennox Lewis, or will you take the mandatory fight, or what is going to be your position?
You know, right now, you know, Don King is the promoter, and if Don King can work something out, whether Lennox Lewis and I can fight, and I'm ready, because I am on the promotion with Don King, and I'm the type of person I honor my contract, and I'm willing to do what's necessary to show everybody they ain't #1 champion, and you know, I'm willing to put it all on the line.
Your eye is a little hurt tonight, but it looks like your ear made it through okay, huh?
Well, you know, God is good, and he's good all the time, even with the lumps and the bumps.
Congratulations to you, Evander. We look forward to the next fight. All right, now let's send it over.